Okay, welcome everyone. I'm Chris Ripley from the Strategic Marketing Group, and we're partnering with Constant Contact to present the basics of social media, why use it, which channels, and what to say. And I'm excited to offer this presentation to everybody. I actually did this yesterday as well for a government group, so it's fresh in my mind that I hope I can provide you with some great information and knowledge on social media. This is the first in a series of two webinars that I'm doing. The next one will be more advanced. So this may be a little bit beginning for people who might be on social media already, but it's always good to have a refresher. And I promise you that you'll learn a few things in here today that you'll be glad you came in terms of content creation and all. So I'm excited to get started, and without waiting any longer, we'll hop on the ice cream truck as it goes by and start the seminar here. Except I got to get my thing on here. Okay, here we go. And just a little bit more about me. I was in retail sales and marketing for 22 years. I was a store manager of a department store for many years, but decided I wanted to start my own business. 2003, I started the Strategic Marketing Group, helping small businesses get better results from their marketing and advertising. We use direct marketing, social media marketing, video, search, mobile, constant contact, Infusionsoft, reputation management. I was thinking I updated this slide for yesterday's presentation, and I honestly think that we've worked, I can look at my list, with over 1,000 small businesses and maybe even more than that. And our website is strategic-marketing-group.com. You can go and learn more about us there. And there's also some free stuff there as well. So, that'll be worth your while. At the end of the presentation, I'll give you a link to get a copy of the presentation if you would like it. So just sit tight till the end, and then you'll be able to pick that up. I try to keep on top of what's going on in the social media marketing world. And basically, I go to an event every year called Social Media Marketing World. This is a shot from it. I just went at the end of March. I went to Social Media Marketing World in San Diego, and this is a photo of Michael Stelzner, who created Social Media Marketing World and also does a great podcast. And I would encourage you, if you want to learn more about social media, whether you're a newbie or you've been doing it for quite a while, go on iTunes and search for the Social Media Podcast with Michael Stelzner. And you'll be glad that you did. I think he's done maybe 100 episodes, right around that. I've listened to every one. I would pay for this. I'd pay $30 or $40 a month for Michael's podcast. I learned so much in it, and I would encourage you to check it out as well. Social Media Marketing World and the Social Media Marketing Podcast on iTunes. A little bit more. In May, just a month ago, I'm a big Red Sox fan, and my daughter happens to be working as a tour guide for the Red Sox this summer. So I got to go to Fenway Park, and many of you may know this as the Green Monster, the left field wall in Fenway Park. Well, I got to go inside the Green Monster, which was very cool, and that's my daughter with me. She took me on a tour through it, and we saw one of the Justin Verlander from the Detroit Tigers. His girlfriend was in there and left her signature in there, but regardless. So that's us. And then here's the view from the inside the Green Monster. You really can't see the whole field. You can see it's a little slit. And I'm putting this photo up because that's how many of you may feel about social media marketing. You know that it's out there, and you can see on your PC it's a little slit of information, but there's lots of dark space. And you really can't tell exactly what's going on. You just have a small view of what's going on. So I'm hoping today that I can give you a broad view, an overhead view, and then next week we'll get a little bit more specific with tips and tricks, but I hope today that I can give you a few tips and tricks that even the most experienced social media marketing person will be happy. So with that, we're going to get started. Why are we here today? Many of you need to understand that you're not alone, that 54% of small businesses and 57% of nonprofits need help with social media marketing. It's just one of those things, and it's really with anything. And that's one of the points that I want to try to make today in the presentation. Social media is just another type of marketing. It happens to be quite popular right now, and I expect it to continue to be popular. And it's some relatively new phenomenon over the last 5 to 10 years. But you need help with other marketing as well, and often you just don't know it. And with some businesses, they're just going from one marketing media to the other. So the good thing is if you stick with any of them, you'll get pretty good. So if you stick with social media, you'll get pretty good at it as well. But there's a lot of people out there who need help, and they think that social media looks really interesting, and they hear these stories that people are making money without spending a lot of money, but how would they ever be able to do it? They know that new marketing tools sound great, but they just don't know what to say. What are you going to say when you get on social media? Are you going to tweet about what you had for lunch and take pictures of dinner and put them on Facebook and that sort of thing? It seems like it might be useful, certainly, because we always want to keep in touch with our customers, but you don't have the dedicated staff to do it right, and you don't have the time to stay current. So understand that a lot of people are in that situation as well. And I think that what you just have to do is, as I tell people with anything, and you should be doing this with marketing in general, you need to set aside time during the week to do this, because this can provide you with return on investment. So between, if you're a business and you do email marketing and you do social media marketing, you're covering two strong bases there that are quite popular right now, and you should be able to get a good return on investment, and they're two complementary tools as well. So we have to realize that in 2008, not a lot of people were doing social media marketing, pretty small. I think it was 2007 or 2008 when Facebook opened up to allow people without .edu email addresses to come in. But today, 87% of small businesses are using social media marketing. And what does that mean? Basically, we're looking at people who might be posting to Facebook or Twitter or that type of thing on a semi-regular basis, but we don't see, some people may not have the biggest commitment to it. So I actually moved that ahead a little bit too soon. So 87% of people are using it, but maybe not everybody is using it effectively. And what you have is powerful. With social media marketing, you can create loyal, happy customers who have an excellent experience, and then they have important and interesting things to say. So you can't miss this. I can think of very few businesses that couldn't benefit from some aspect of social media marketing when you think about it. And as a business, you have to look at different places and go where, as Dan Kennedy says, Dan Kennedy's a direct marketer, you have to fish where the fish are. And that's what we're going to try to teach you to do today. We're going to talk about why do you use social media, top 5 social media networks. One of the big questions that I get from people all the time is, what social media should I be on? And then the biggest problem that people have is what to say. What are they going to be able to say to their flock, to their followers, and how to get started today, because I think that's important for everybody. You come to these webinars or seminars and you get really excited, and then reality takes over and you don't accomplish what you'd like. Well, that's why I'm doing 2 as well. We'll do the beginning one this week and then the more advanced one next week. And between those 2, you should have a good hold and be able to get started. And I'm going to offer at the end of the show today at the end of the webinar, a chance to even hook up more afterwards. So that might help you some more. So why use social media? 93% of nonprofits, 87% of B2B businesses, and 86% of B2C businesses are on social media. And when I did this yesterday, people asked me B2B, B2C. So B2B is business to business, and then B2C is business to consumer. And I apologize for using that. I live outside of Washington, D.C. We hear all these letters for government stuff all the time, and I don't like it, so I shouldn't do it myself either. Influences decisions. How many people in the webinar today have relied on social networks to guide purchase decisions, reviews, things like that? Share purchases on social networks. We're getting solar panels installed on our house. And I encourage you, any of you who live in states where this can be done, to check it out. But there's a Solar City is Elon Musk company, and we're getting them we're going to buy our own power. But anyway, I don't want to go into that. Share purchase, we've talked about it on social media. And then 68% learn more about a charity if they see a friend posting about it. So any of those things are very important to anybody on this call, I would think. And engagement, whereas it used to be word of mouth, engagement is the new word of mouth. What are people saying on Facebook about you, or on Pinterest, or on Yelp, or things like that? That's really how it works. And you got to understand that when you have a great business and you provide a wow experience and you entice those people to stay in touch with you, so you try to create more of a relationship with those people, and you engage those people, you get them to create more of a, to have a two-way street. We think back when the web first started, it was a one-way street. The web is now big-time two-way street. So you want to provide a great experience to your customers or clients. You want to keep in touch with them on a regular basis. You want to engage them, educate them about their product, or give them offers of different products or complementary products, or provide them with information that can help them with life, whatever it might be. If you're doing that within your business and you're doing it on social media, it's going to create social visibility. People will see you. I was talking yesterday with this group, and we were talking about sharing things. This was a city government that I was working with yesterday, and one of the questions they asked, they do concerts every Friday night. How could they get more people to find out about the concerts on social media and maybe come to the concerts? So one of the things we decided was that all of the employees who were in the meeting, if they shared that content on their Facebook page and their friends started to see it, it's going to create more social visibility, and it's going to drive more people to the event. Or, you can think of a very similar example in business as well. So that's what we're trying to do here. That's what you want to do from a macro level. So let me see. Is anybody? If anybody wants to type in a question, go ahead. I'll take a quick look and see if there's any questions. Anybody have any questions? Yep, I'll sit tight here for a minute. Oops, gotta get back onto that page. I can still see them. So if you have any questions, just throw them in there anytime. I've got the question bar open. Which social media? That's a question that I get quite often. And we're going to really focus on what we're calling the top 5. And, anybody, you can certainly dispute after you get, 4. But in terms of users, these are the top 5. You've got Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, and Google+. And we'll go into a little bit of each one of them. Facebook, everybody's on Facebook from a demographic point of view. My dad is on Facebook now, and I'm 55 years old. And when my daughter became a tour guide at Fenway Park. He wanted to see what she was saying on Facebook, so he got a Facebook account and could find out what his granddaughter was doing. He thinks she has the best job you could possibly have. People are looking for useful, interesting, informative content. One of the things that you see people doing right now is, we've seen the newspaper circulation drop, and we see 6 o'clock news ratings drop, that type of thing. So lots of people get their news from Facebook now, and they follow the news sources that they would like. And, some people think that that's what makes things a little bit more divisive, because we're only looking at news that we think is correct, that type of thing. But that's, people are doing lots of things on Facebook, sharing text. Facebook is best for sharing text, photos, videos, reaching a large audience. And with Facebook advertising, which is the topic of another webinar, you can do some amazing things. I encourage you to check that out. Anybody can use it, B2B, B2C, nonprofits. LinkedIn, if you're in the B2B world, you should be on LinkedIn without question. It's the business networking site. And I estimate probably close to 6 figures in earnings that I've done just from connections that I've made on LinkedIn over the last, I've been on LinkedIn since 2005. I probably started getting active maybe 2006, 2007. So people are looking for industry news, tips, solutions. You'll find a lot of people looking for jobs on LinkedIn. So that's where, I saw a lot of my retail friends, after spending 22 years in retail, I saw a lot of my retail friends pass through when the economy really got tight there. Twitter, primary audience, young adults. It's also, a place to go for news, brand updates, trends. A couple of years ago now, at the University of Virginia, where I graduated, they had a situation where they had fired the president, and it got kind of ugly. And the Board of Visitors was meeting, and it wasn't going to be covered by MSNBC or Fox, but you could follow it on Twitter. And so, people do that kind of stuff as well. Celebrity news. My wife was on Twitter before she was on Facebook because she was checking out the Osmonds' Twitter feeds. So whatever it might be, B2C nonprofits can use Twitter. Pinterest, primary audience there, I think it's about 70-30 men to women. Women to men, so 70% women, 30% men. Foodies, it's the place to go to put your food pictures. Crafters. I've worked with a person who does a gift shop. They have a small gift shop, and they have some very nice stuff. And for them, Pinterest is great. They use YouTube and Pinterest because they're visual media, and that's where they really need to go. And we're not talking about YouTube today, but YouTube certainly is a social media as well. Pinterest is best for sharing visual content for products, how-to, ebooks, mostly used in B2C. And I would have to agree with that. But if you have a B2B business or a nonprofit business where there's potential to use images, I would encourage you to check it out as well. Google Plus, lots of discussion on what's going on with Google Plus. A couple of months ago, the project manager left Google. I haven't heard too much more about it since. Primary audience, a lot more men, tech people on Google, lots of tech people. Big Google evangelist is Guy Kawasaki, who was a Apple evangelist back in the 80s and 90s. Students, software developers, good for links, photos, video, news, blog posts. I look at Google Plus as somewhat of a combination of Twitter in its openness and lack of ability to control what people see, that sort of thing, and Facebook, where you have much more robust posts with visuals and videos and that sort of thing. Anybody can use Google Plus. And from a business point of view, if you want to rank high on Google, you need to be on Google Plus. And I'll talk a little bit more about that when I give you some tips in the future, but in the future being later later in the webinar. So there we go. And here's a nice little grid. I thought this was kind of cool. So, a nice little grid where you can see where each social media kind of falls out and what it's best for, what the audience is, that type of thing. Got a drink. So there we go. So that gives you a big overview of the social media that we're going to be talking about today. So the number one problem that small businesses have with social media is deciding, what do I say? How am I going to create content that people might be interested in seeing? So we're going to get into that a little bit. Think about how you break down your content. About half of your content you should use to get likes, shares, and comments, to entertain, invite conversation, ask questions, put up images and videos. So that should be about half of the content that you put up. Industry info, hints and tips, content from other websites, what we would call curate content, where you go out and find other things, should be about 30% of your content. And then calls to action, opportunities to engage on a higher level, we could call it, not necessarily buy now, because Facebook isn't the best for selling. I see selling going on Facebook, but really use it to educate people and to position your business where you're the provider who provides the most information. So you must be the one that I should choose. People certainly will react to that. You can give them the information. You can say, no matter who you buy from, these are good questions to ask, and you hope that people will come to you. So here you go, just some different things that you can use to entertain, invite conversation, ask questions, images and video category here. So here's one, a fill in the blank question that you could put out to your people on Facebook, or you could tweet this if you wanted to, and people could reply to your tweets and do it that way, or you could put it on Google Plus and do the same kind of thing. So here we have one example where you do a fill in the blank question. So write that down. Oh, my thing popped up again. Okay, here's a graphic, and I'm going to show you a resource that you can use for graphics as well, but a graphic with some writing on it, kind of a greeting card. And you can go to eCards here if you'd like, or there are other places you can create them yourself. And you can even do it with other tools. And maybe I should, if you have a little bit of time, there's a tool called Canva, Canva.com. This is another writer downer. Canva, Canva.com. And you can go and create your own kind of graphics like this if you would like. Sometimes you pay, sometimes they're free. Here, ask a multiple choice question, that sort of thing. To create content people will want to share, you should entertain, have value, create a sense of scarcity, exclusivity, elicit an emotion. What do you think 5 should be? And people can reply to that. We won't get into that because we can't go two-way right now. Another sort of saying, in quotes, that type of thing. If you have quotes, there are plenty of websites that you can go to that you can get quotes, and you can just search, if you want a Thomas Jefferson quote, or if you want a founding father quote, or if you want a joke, let's say you want a dry cleaner joke. Do a Google search on dry cleaner jokes. I bet you'll find one. Somebody can probably test me on that. I hope that I'm right. I haven't I've Googled other things, but I haven't done dry cleaner. Here, industry info, hints and tips, and curate content. I'm big on this, and I probably do close to 50%. And my Facebook and Twitter has been clogged up. I've been trying out a new tool, and I'm not happy with it, so I'm going to be making some changes. And I'll actually show you what I'm using in a few minutes, a little later on. But, here's something, understanding EdgeRank. EdgeRank is basically a tool that Facebook uses to determine when it should serve your page to people, that type of thing. So might want to learn a little bit about that. Did you hear the news? U.S. consumers spent $5.5 billion shopping small last Saturday. That was right after Small Business Saturday. So that's, just something relative to the time. If you make a decision to commit to doing some work in social media and say you allocate an hour a week to managing your social media, or you have an employee who does it for you, one of the things you can always do is, search for a calendar of events. There's every day is something. I just was noticing that there's a social media day coming up, and I didn't have time to do more research into it, and I think it might be coming up soon, but I missed that one. I didn't get it at Social Media Marketing World, but everything has a day, so that, that can be content for you as well. Here we have a holiday tip. Add a personal touch your customers are looking for. So, there's another thing in terms of things to say. So here we go into calls to action, and make them a little bit subtle. One of the points that I think probably here is a good point to make, and it's not in the presentation, but I want to mention, is that I wrote a blog post a couple of weeks ago. Don't build your house on rented land. Understand that the list of people who like your Facebook page is owned by Facebook. So that list, and I'm a big one on having lists, certainly. And that's, my next book that's coming out in the next couple of months is called Leverage Your List. I'm big on having lists. But your list of people is owned by Facebook, and they're letting you use it. You should do all that you can to try to get the people who like your Facebook page to also sign up on your email list, one way or the other. Run a contest. Do so, only provide content in your email. Do something to capture people's email lists so you will have their information as well, and you don't have to worry about Facebook owning your list. So, here's Unwrap big savings this Cyber Monday. So here's another call to action. Here's some other content ideas. What's new at your business or organization? If you get a new employee, you get a new product in, talking about the gift shop. Every time they get new stuff in, they take pictures of it, and if they get a new thing in and it's got 4 or 5 or 6 things that go with it, they get 4 or 5 or 6 pictures up there. If somebody sees that and comes in and buys it, and they're hooked up with designers. So, a designer's always looking for something new. So that's a good thing to, put stuff on there as well. You should have something going on new pretty much all the time. And and maybe it's not always good. Maybe bad things, certainly, you want to keep that within reason, but if something bad happens, let people know. What did you do recently to help somebody achieve success? If you have an employee get promoted or anything along those lines, just things that are going on in your business. And what advice have people been asking you for lately? If it just so happens that in 3 days you get 3 of the same question, maybe more people have that question as well. And even if you don't, if somebody comes in and asks a question that you haven't heard in a while, put that up. Had somebody come in today and ask me this. And I hadn't thought of it in a couple of years, but let me tell you what this is and go into whatever it might be. I've gotten a couple of calls from clients lately, and I'm sure many of you get these calls that my clients are getting from people who try to represent themselves. They don't really do, but the way that they present themselves, they represent themselves as people from Google, and they're going to help you get on the first page of Google. And really what they're just trying to do is sell services, and that's their hook, putting it in a polite way. So, in the last week, I've had two clients, one via email and one on the phone, that asked me about it. So, in that, that might be something to put up as well, to let people know that people are out there and they may not be presenting themselves as they are. Here's somebody's Facebook page, Donna's Gourmet Cookies, and Facebook pages just changed this week. That'll be another webinar as well. But here we have Donna's page. She just created some great looking and hopefully delicious Christmas cookies. And so she took a picture of them and put them on her page, and people are starting to comment about them already. Here 10 people like it. You can look and you can see the 10 likes, and there are 2 comments, and there's 1 share. You can see the last one is the share, so that's pretty exciting. This is what the person who shared it wrote. Look at these adorable holiday cookies. I'm sure they taste even better, and the ones with the frosting certainly look good to me. And then this person wants to know where's Donna's located, or that, how can I get these, whatever it might be. So that's great stuff. And this happens. It really does. So think about it. We're not going to do this today, but I'd like you to think about this on your own. What's something that you could share this week that's entertaining and invites conversation? What could that be? And I like at the beginning of the video, I threw in a little bit about myself, and I threw in the Fenway Park thing. And so that might be something, if we were in a seminar setting, we might, have a little bit of talk, and it's got a little bit of entertainment value, and it humanizes me a little bit, that sort of thing. What's going on in your industry? For me, that would be the changes in the Facebook pages. The last couple of weeks, Facebook pages have changed, and they're pretty much done with that. So I could go out and find other people who have commented about it and post that on my Facebook page. I could create my own content if I wanted to. And then, I did this week. I did it throughout social media. Share something about your business that's not buy now. And that was these webinars. That's what I did. And webinars, as I hear, I'm going to share something this week that I've heard. And, so it's probably in a category 2. But I hear that webinars are really doing very well. And that, I've seen attendance at seminars drop down, but I've certainly seen webinar attendance increase. So I'm trying to remember where I just bought a new product this week, and maybe it was on one of those webinars. But, webinars are certainly a good tool, and you don't have to drive anywhere, that sort of thing. So to get started today, I would recommend, as we discussed at the beginning, Facebook is a great place to start. Some of you might be better off starting on LinkedIn. If you're B2B, LinkedIn might be better for you. But Facebook is certainly a good place to get started. So, think about those 2 things. And if you're not going to start on LinkedIn, take the time to update your LinkedIn profile, because the more it's updated, the better it is. So start with Facebook. Create your page. And there's a problem that sometimes occurs with people creating a Facebook page where they actually use a profile A profile is an individual, and people use a profile as their Facebook page. And I see people who do this for quite a while. So Facebook doesn't want you to do it. And I would encourage you not to do it, mainly because it leaves you out of so many things that you can use to market your business on Facebook. You can't do Facebook advertising if you have a profile. You know, you might be able to get, do a few things better. You can only have 5,000 likes on your profile. You can't add apps to your profile. Apps are the little things on the top, and they've moved them in the new Facebook pages. Always make sure you create a Facebook page for your business. So, and this is where you would go to do that. Fill in the info. You want to add your logo, and you want to add a photo up at the top here. That's important to do. You want to make it look like it's finished. And then you want to start posting, and you want to tell people that you're out there. Put links on your website. There are a million ways that you can do this. If you have an email list already, this is one of the first things that we do is we email everybody, and you can get a lot of people to like your page that way. Things that you can do internally. Put a sign where people might see it in your store. Add it onto your receipt. If you have a thing that puts a message on your receipt, print it on your business cards, maybe create a card and give it to people and tell people that you do Facebook only offers. And if you want to follow us on Facebook, you might get some great deals, that type of thing. So there are lots of places that you can promote it, events, anytime that you can. If you do a direct mail piece or you do a newspaper piece, always put your Facebook information on it. And the little tip that you can do, you don't even have to write out Facebook completely. You can just do fb.com/SMG marketing. That would be the strategic marketing group page. fb.com/SMG marketing. And one of the things, you want to make sure that you get that vanity URL. You need to get, I believe, 30 likes on your page to get the URL that's similar to your business name, but you want to get that pretty quickly. So there's lots of places where you want to market your Facebook page, and then you want to start posting. Think about creating within the 50-30-20 rule, but don't let that hold you back. You want to, if you see something's good that should go on Facebook and it doesn't fall in the rule, understand that rules are meant to be broken. And if it's important, you think it's important to your audience, put it up. And that would be the number one rule. If you think it's important and then they respond as yes, it is important to them, then you've got good stuff. Use the 3 questions, ask your audience. And here's a little tool, go through and plan out your Facebook pages, your Facebook posts by day, and do it on a little calendar here. And if you go ahead, celebrate at the end. And if you go ahead and get the slides, or you could do this on your own, you could do it on your calendar, but basically just take the time to fill it out. So now I'm going to go to, I got this. We've got the final update. I thought this was the last slide, and now I'm going to get to the really good stuff. So, just to summarize things, we've talked about why you want to use social media. I think it's important. It's an important marketing tool for any business or nonprofit, no question. The 5 top social networks, get out there and just do it. And then join us for the next session. If you haven't signed up for that, it'll be next Friday at 1 o'clock as well. So I want to go to my web browser, and I'm going to show you a couple of tricks and tools to help you out on Facebook to make it easier to create content. So we're going to go to some pages, but there's an app called Post Planner, And basically what Post Planner is a tool that helps you create content on Facebook. So all you have to do is you have to search for it up on the top here on Facebook, and I'm on my Facebook page here. So you search for it, and Post Planner will come up, and you're going to have to connect your Facebook page to Post Planner. But as you can see here now, it gives us 3 different categories. It gives us possible status ideas. So these are questions that you could ask to people. And these are somewhat general questions, but you also see, and there's a paid version of this. If you want to use the paid version, it's $30 a month. But when you think of how much time this would save you, if your time is worth $30 an hour or whatever, it would certainly be worth it. And to get into, you're going to have to pay a little bit to get into social media. I'm not going to say that it's free. Signing up for Facebook is free. But if you want to do it and do it well, you need to pay a little bit. And when you do your marketing budget, put some money into social media. I was talking to one of my clients the other day, and basically, think about if you used to do a quarter of a page newspaper ad, maybe you want to do an eighth of a page newspaper ad and put the other half of that money into Google AdWords or into Facebook advertising, things like that, and reach different markets. So lots of these, you got the fill in the blank like we talked about. I get no money on this. I should sign up to be an affiliate, but you should check this out because I think it's great. And the other thing that it allows you to do is it allows you to schedule when you want that Facebook post to go out. So you can, this is where the great part comes in, because you can sit down and in an hour do all of your Facebook stuff and have it ready to go for the whole week and go have a glass of wine like we talked about before. So that's one segment of content that it helps you create. The other one is viral photos. You sometimes wonder where these photos come from. Well, here, as you scroll through here, you can see any of these, and there's a lot more of them as well. And when you have the paid one, you can see even more. I don't think it's going to let me, it's going to let me show these. It won't let me post these. But you can see there are hundreds of different images that you can use to post on your Facebook page. And we use this quite a bit because it gives us some real diversity in our content, and here we have, awkward, this one, this is one that you can't access. And then this gives you, I don't want to go back. So you can't get all the, we have another account that we actually do our social media management from. This is my actual Facebook page. And then you have trending content, what's hot out there. And you can see all these different news sources, Huffington Post, Atlantic, NPR, AP, Mother Jones, Fortune, Success, different social media stuff. I don't think it's going to let me, well, it is. It's going to let me show it. It won't let me post this. But Mari Smith is a social media marketing expert. So if I wanted to use this and post some additional social media stuff, this is a lot more personal and a lot more intimate, because you're really, what Post Planner does for you is it filters through the content and gives you stuff that might be good for your page. And as you can see, there's lots of different things, and you can also add more feeds. You can add, different content, almost any content that might be continuously updated on the web. So I encourage you to check out Post Planner for Facebook. Now, the thing is that it's only with Facebook. I use HootSuite, and it looks like I'm signed in. I just did this for the United Way. So HootSuite is another tool, and I'm not going to go into how to use it and that sort of thing. I thought that I had my own pulled up, but it looks like I've got the United Way one pulled up. But HootSuite is a tool that allows you, and I don't know, yeah, this is, yeah, since I don't have my own, let me see if I can get my own keyed up here, because HootSuite also helps you curate content. But I'm sorry here, folks. I thought I had the. Yeah, Hootsuite also helps you curate content, and this is new, and not everybody has this, but they'll but I see it's suggested, and I have the beta version, but they'll have them have it for everybody pretty soon. And basically, what it does is it goes out and finds content based on criteria that you set up, and then you can post this to Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Google Plus and other social media as well, all at once. So Hootsuite, it's not as personal as Post Planner, but we use Hootsuite on all of our clients. And Hootsuite is free. I don't know if this new suggested content thing is going to be free. Here it's going to go and get the content. I don't know if it's going to be free or not. I've been using Hootsuite for many years and I have a paid account. But here, it's gone out and found some things that I could post on my Facebook page as well. And this would fall into the 30% category of the curated content. So here's another way that you can find things to say. So Post Planner is one thing that can help you find things to say. Hootsuite is another thing that can help you find things to say. And then the third thing that I'm going to throw in here is Google Alerts. And I don't know if anybody, hopefully you've heard of Google Alerts, but if you haven't, you need to check it out. And if you just go, I think I've been using it for so long. Well, let me show you how it works. Let me go to Google and do a search. And I'm going to do a search on strategic. I don't know if I'm going to have much that'll. I knew I would show up there. Now, I don't know. Yeah, there's nothing on news. So I'm just going to there'll be more strategic marketing groups. So here's, and I could put any words in here that I wanted to. If you are, you can do this in your own industry if you would like. But if you go down to the bottom of your Google, it says create an alert. And basically all you have to do, and everybody should have this, is if you're signed in. I think even if you're not signed in, you would have this. And what this does is allows me to create a Google alert. So on every day or every week or as it happens, it's going to let me know when there's new information about strategic marketing group, or here really all they're doing is marketing group. This is probably not the best example, but I can do news, blogs, everything that would be like your regular Google search, videos, anything that comes up. Let's see, I wonder if there's any of our videos. Nope, I didn't know if that, because I guess we haven't done any recently. And then languages, regions, how often, best results, all results, however you'd like to do it. And then you just click create an alert. And we're going to go here and right here, because I did it on video. Actually, here's the strategic marketing group. So every time, at least once a day, it's going to send me an email telling me what's going on with strategic marketing group. Do this for your business. And it's one way that you can notice if you have any bad reviews or anything. So that's this is just another way, but you can also, you can look through here, we have different clients. We have a car repair place. So we have auto recall. So whenever there's an auto recall, we put it on the Facebook page. We've got car care tips. I work with a irrigation systems company and a lawn service company. So, here we have garden tips and 14 simple garden tips. Again, this falls generally into the 30% category. Your curated content. We work with home security or a security company, so they do all different kinds of security stuff. But we've got home security, we've got personal finance investigations. You can see the different ones that we have. So there I'm just giving you a couple of different tools that you can use to help create content. So I'm gonna we're about at the end. One of the things that I mentioned is that I have a new book coming out, and I wanted to just take a minute and talk to everybody about that. My new book coming out is called Leverage Your List, and when it's available, I'll let everybody know, and you'll be able to get a free copy of it. I would expect that it'll be coming out at the end of August, beginning of September. We're working on the graphics now, and I'm going to want to get a few early copies to make sure everything looks good before we go ahead and print the final run. But I'm going to offer it to free to anybody with connections to me, and we're also going to create a Leverage Your List program to go with it, because as I was saying earlier, you want to have your list in an email service like Constant Contact or in Excel or anywhere. You want to be capturing a list of your clients and prospects all the time. It's the most valuable part of your business. I wrote this book because I was in a vacuum cleaner store once. I had actually gotten a referral from the person in B&I, and they had asked me to go meet with this gentleman who owned a vacuum cleaner and sewing machine store, which is certainly not, a growth business. It's certainly, kind of a maintained business at the most. But he had been in business almost 30 years, and he was just running it with himself and a couple of family members, because he didn't have a list. He didn't have a list of clients and prospects, and it was really kind of sad that he hadn't taken the time. He had boxes full of receipts, but he couldn't. If he had a new vacuum cleaner come in, maybe he could have put it on Facebook, but he certainly couldn't let people who bought vacuum cleaners 3 years ago or longer know that he had new vacuum cleaners in, and maybe they wanted to upgrade. So what I wanted to spend my last few minutes talking about with everybody today is a little bit about Constant Contact and what it can do for you. And if you don't have something to keep your list in, you need to sign up for Constant Contact and start creating a list of your clients and prospects that you can use to keep in touch with them on a regular basis. If you got two things out of the presentation today, one of them is that you need to be on Facebook or LinkedIn right away with your business. And I can tell you another story about why, but we need to be online. We need to have an online presence with your business. And then you need to have a list of your clients and prospects that you can use at any time to get more business for your business. And with Constant Contact, you can do email newsletters and announcements. You can do offers and promotions. The gift store that I work with, they love this stuff as well. You can see this is kind of a good example of it, but they do the same thing. When they get in new stuff, they do emails and they let people know about it. You can do events and registrations. My lawn care company this spring did two things, both of these things right here. They did an event where they taught people how to take care of their lawn, and then if you were too lazy or didn't have the time to take care of your lawn, they would take care of it for you. And they signed up a bunch of people by doing a live event in their location. They have a decent location, and they thought it was well worth it. And then the other thing that we did with them is we did a survey. We surveyed their customers to find out what were the most important things for them from a marketing point of view. Were they on Facebook? Did they use YouTube, the newspaper, that type of thing? So we were able to learn a lot about their customers and learn why they chose that particular lawn care company, which is invaluable information when you go to create marketing pieces and when you talk to prospects and you find out what's important with them as well. So, oops, I just saw, okay. So let me get through this. I see Michelle has a question, and hold on one quick second. I'm sorry I missed that, Michelle. I'm going to get to it in a minute. And these are the prices for Constant Contact. You can start off at $20 a month, but I encourage you to think about $45 a month even. I mean, it's not that much of an investment to make. I had a client once, and I see this happen all the time, but one of the best examples was a Huntington Learning Center. They do tutoring and that sort of thing. And I set up the center's email. He had a list of about 300 email addresses that he had been accumulating and sporadically touching over the last few years. The third email that we sent out, one of the parents forwarded it to another parent whose child needed SAT prep coaching, and the center got a $2,400 SAT prep deal out of it. So, email marketing has the highest return on investment of any marketing that you do. It's about 40 to 1. So, if you invest $600 in email marketing, you should be able to see some good business back from it in the next year or so, if you do it regularly, and have to do it and do it as we help you do. And because of that, we want, and because I want to see you have the opportunity to get into Constant Contact, we're going to give you a few extra things as well. The first thing is we're going to do a campaign design template with when you purchase the basic toolkit, just the $20 a month purchase. By the end of the month, we're going to design your template for you. And this is a great help. And it's usually a couple $100 to do this, but through the end of June, we'll give it to you for free. And through the end of June, we're going to give you 50% off your first month. So it's only going to be $10 to get started. And then I'm going to sit down with you for an hour, you and me one-on-one, and we can talk about whatever you like, but we first want to set up your Constant Contact, import your list in, and create your first email broadcast. So with that, I'm going to say that if you'd like to sign up, here's the link that you can go to. I'm going to leave this up. The free hour is $150 an hour. That's what I usually charge people to do this. So for $10, you're going to get about $400 worth of email marketing, design work, and coaching that's going to set you well on your way to being successful with email marketing, which is the number one return on investment of any marketing. And with Constant Contact, whenever you do these emails, you can also post them to your social media. So that's even cooler, where you can do two things at once. So with that, I'm going to, Michelle, I'm going to open up your microphone here. I don't know if you want to ask the question or not. Let me see what happens here. Oh. Michelle?
Yeah. Hi, Chris. I was wondering, with the online surveys, I mean, when I'm a customer, there's times when it's just annoying. Haven't they kind of become an overused tool?
You're talking about on Facebook or with
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's up to you. And that's where, with any of this, that's a very good question, because, some audiences will respond to it, other audiences won't. And you have to know your audience and find out what works and what doesn't work. And if you see, well, I do this post and I only have 10 people who are engaged with it, but I do this and I get 40, then you do more of the ones like the 40.
Okay, thanks.
No, and what I tell people as well, if you do a post and you get great response from it, that might even be something that you would want to promote or boost, which I said was a topic for another webinar. But that would be one thing to think about. If you do one post and people love it, I'm trying to remember it. I have a liquor store that I work with, and I think we did, like, they have frozen drinks, like frozen margaritas, like a slur, you could squeeze it out or whatever. And we did a picture of that in a post, and people just loved them. So we paid for a post in her area, and she's selling the heck out of those things. I mean, they're still selling. So does that pick
Yes.
what works? I'm throwing out lots of things here. Pick what works, and
Okay.
it's like you say that those are kind of hackneyed. I wouldn't disagree. And the videos where everybody starts singing as well. I don't know.
Okay.
So thanks, Michelle. Thank you for the questions.
you.
I've got Kathy has one. I'm going to unmute Kathy and mute Michelle.
I do.
Hello, Kathy.
How do I do that? Oh, let me get. Okay, I am muted. I'm not gonna.
Kathy, I can hear you.
Wait a minute. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I'm just looking at the June 14th deadline. This is tough for me.
Oh no, June 14 is just the code. It'll go through the end of the month.
I understand that. This constant contact is really appealing to us in our company, and my business is title insurance. So at the end of the month, I'm done. Okay, so I only got 15 days right now on this promo code. Is there any way you can help me out with this?
To get the 50% off?
Correct.
Yeah, talk to me. I'll drop you an email after the event.
Thank you.
And we'll see.
Thank you.
You got to put you have until the end of the month to do it. All these are good until the end of the month.
Okay. Well,
I just put.
I just want you to understand, Chris. This has been so enlightening with the industry that I'm in right now, and just the B2B, and being on Facebook and LinkedIn. I don't use this information like I should. So I appreciate the efforts that you have made today, and hopefully I will follow your lead. Thank you.
Sure enough. Thank you for the great feedback. I really appreciate that. I rarely get that, so that's great. Not that it's bad, things are bad, but I don't.
And as long as I get a quote of the day sent to me every day, that would be really great. If you could tell me that.
Okay. All righty.
Thank you.
Sure enough. Thank you. Any other questions? Does anybody else have any questions? Put up your hand and I'll unmute you. That's probably, or you can type it in if you don't want to talk. You can type it in. That's another thing to do. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up. For everybody who stuck around until the end, I'm going to give you one more nugget before we go. I hope I didn't. No, I didn't. That everybody should check out. And this is a place where you can go and do lots of marketing things for $5. There's a website out there called Fiverr, Fiverr.com. And you can see here, we do a lot of voiceover recording for videos. So I don't know but we can do voiceovers on videos. We'll write your explainer video script, basically explaining what your video is. People, there may be crazy stuff on here, do testimonials. They'll edit and proofread your document, write a 300-word article for you. So if you're looking for blog content, now these are not always the best, and there are other places to go. 30 seconds of original music, $5, and so I encourage you to check it out. It's Fiverr.com, and this is your bonus for sticking around at the end. I don't see any more hands up. So with that, I'm going to thank you guys for all attending, and everyone have a great day. Thank you very much.